Yo, YouTube, what is good, bruv gang, what is good, and we are back with another video. Welcome to another edition of the JRPG Roundup Show here on the channel, bringing you the latest and greatest in all JRPG news. So let's just get straight into it. So, big shout out to RPG Site. RPG Site were able to get their hands on the new Crisis Core Final Fantasy 7 Reunion remaster or remake, if you want to call it that. Square are labeling it a remaster, but in terms of the graphics and everything else, this is pretty much a full-fledged remake. So big shout out to RPG Site. So their article says Square Enix calls Crisis Core Final Fantasy 7 Reunion a remaster, but don't misunderstand, this game is much closer to a full remake beyond the graphical improvements, the redub voices and everything else. The game's combat has been completely overhauled into a more traditional action RPG. You've got an actual attack button, a proper dodge, a more traditional over-the-shoulder camera, and a whole slew of upgrades and changes to the user interface, which is of course very welcome. So RPG Site were actually able to play the game, and most gamers who went to the Tokyo Game Show 2022 were able to get their hands on this game on the PS5 and the Nintendo Switch. So continuing on with the article, we had a chance to play both the PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch versions of the game during our recent trip to Square Enix's pre-Tokyo Game Show press event. While the PlayStation 5 version certainly ran well, it looks to be 4K 60. What's far more interesting is the state of the Nintendo Switch release, which is of course a lot of people are very interested in, myself included. It retains most of the graphical enhancements of the PlayStation 5 release, maintains a seemingly smooth 60 frames per second, and targets 720 in handheld mode. Even with the dips to the resolution, it still never drops to a low enough resolution to be noticeable outside of cutscenes. So this is actually very promising. This is very good to hear as well. Me personally, I will be purchasing the game on the PS5 just because it is the superior version, of course. But I did play Final Fantasy 7 Remake on the PlayStation 4. So, and of course I played the Yuffie story as well on the PlayStation 5. So I'm very much looking forward to this game. I definitely will be purchasing it on the PS5, but it's very good to hear that the Switch version looks like it's going to be shaping up to do well. Even for myself, I know this might sound crazy, but I might even purchase the game for the Switch as well, just so I have it on both systems. I do want to try it out handheld as well. It'd be lovely to play this game on the go. That's the beauty of the Switch as well, is just the portability of the system. That's why it pretty much it's become one of my favorite systems this generation, or probably of all time. Probably is one of my favorite systems. So my RPG sites say that the Nintendo Switch OLED seems to be the kind of definitive way to play this game, basically. Of course, I do own the OLED version of it, so that makes me even more happier. Of course, most games in handheld mode on the OLED Switch look beautiful anyway. Of course, because of the OLED screen and the colors and stuff like that, it looks so much better. Of course, on your base old Nintendo Switch, it's gonna kind of look washed out a little bit. So people are kind of on the fence about it. I wouldn't be too worried, maybe, because obviously most people are gonna play it docked. But of course, it's nice to have that portability and be able to just sit down in bed and play this game. But it's very nice to see that. So big shout out to Genki_JPN. I'm going to be leaving the tweet on screen, so make sure you go ahead and follow them on Twitter. A very good account as well. They went to the Tokyo Game Show event. So this is what they had to say about Crisis Core 7 Final Fantasy Reunion. Sorry, long name. So they say Crisis Core Final Fantasy 7 Reunion runs great on Switch. In game, it is smooth and feels amazing. During the in-engine cutscenes, you can see the aliasing on the character models, which is obviously, of course, something that we would expect. But overall, I feel it runs well on the Switch. So obviously, note this is a pre-game build. The game is still in development, so obviously things can change on that front. But just based off of the screenshots that we're seeing here, you guys will see on screen anyway. Just based off the screenshots that we're seeing, the game looks really good. Especially the last screenshot where you'll find, I think that's Ifrit, I believe. But the game looks really good, especially on the Switch. It looks really good. It pretty much just looks like the PS5 version. Of course, the graphics are not going to be up to that caliber, but running on handheld mode, especially because obviously we're not seeing this in docked mode, but seeing this on handheld mode, this gives me a lot of hype. This looks really good on the Switch, man, and I'm very happy Nintendo have got this right. This looks really good. So yeah, that's that, man. That's really good news. So Moving swiftly on to the next piece of news. So, kind of a disappointment here on the Persona front. I am a big Persona fan, but this is kind of a disappointment on the Persona front. Of course, we have Persona 5, basically the remaster essentially, coming out for PS5 and Nintendo Switch alike. So finally the Switch is getting a port. I will be purchasing that just because, of course, I've said in previous videos, I love the portability of the Switch. Just being able to play docked and undocked, I'm just going to keep saying it, it's just amazing to me. And it still blows my mind to this day, even though I've had a Switch for quite a while now. So big shout out to Gematsu. The Persona series, concert, Persona Super Live P Sound Wish 2022 Crossing Journey, which will take place on October 8th and 9th at Makuhari Messe in Chiba, Japan, will not feature any game announcements, Atlus have confirmed. So any of us Persona fans who are essentially expecting maybe a Persona 6 announcement or something to that degree, sadly I don't think Atlus are going down that route. Now, I kind of have, this is just a gripe on my own and maybe some other people as well. I'm kind of worried that Atlus are getting a bit too, I don't want to say complacent probably, or a bit too comfortable maybe. I understand that it's a business and whatever's selling well, you're going to keep pushing that sell basically to keep doing it and keep buying it. Of course, people are going to buy your games. Obviously, I know Persona 5 Royal is coming out on the Nintendo Switch, and I do plan on purchasing it. Of course, I've already owned the base Persona on PS3, PS4, and I actually never got around to playing Royal, maybe just only because of the third semester didn't really appeal to me. And obviously, there was a few things that they added towards the game, but pretty much I watched that stuff anyway. But it would be nice to replay it anyway on the Nintendo Switch. But continuing on, I just hope Atlus don't drag out the Persona 5 gig for too long. I know they did bring out the Muso Warrior style type game, which was Persona 5 Strikers, which is actually an incredible game. That's probably one of my favorite games from that year. An incredible game when it did drop. But I really just hope that Atlus don't get complacent here, you know. I do understand that it is a business, that they do need to keep pushing sales with a game that is selling very, very well. But I do hope, for the sake of us Persona fans especially, that we do get Persona 6 in some capacity. And of course, it would be nice as well to see something to do Persona 1 and 2 as well, which do not get enough love. For me personally, it's only Persona 4 and 3 that, well, 3's only recently got love, Persona 4 as well. But it would be nice to at least see 1 and 2 get some love as well. But the main thing that we are looking forward to is at least seeing Persona 6. My thing with Persona 6 is that I feel that in terms of the way the game will look, I think it will probably be very, very similar to how Soul Hackers look. So in terms of that type of art style, the way the game looks on especially the PS5, so I think that's where they'll make their money. So I'm really hoping that we do see something in future. We was all hoping that maybe we'll see something, because we do know that it's the anniversary year of Persona, I believe. So it'll be nice to at least see something. But yeah, so that is Persona. Atlus have confirmed that there will be no Persona news, unfortunately. So short news show for you today, guys. Again, just another piece of news. So here we go, the next piece of news. Fire Emblem Engage, the file size has weighed in at 15 gigabytes. A big shout out to My Nintendo News. So the article reads, we were all treated to a look at the brand new Fire Emblem Adventure Fire Emblem Engage during the latest Nintendo Direct presentation, and it admittedly looks lovely. Those of you wondering how much space Fire Emblem Engage will take up if you purchase the game digitally via the eShop should expect the game to weigh in at around 15 gigabytes according to the official Nintendo website. The file size is subject to change though, as there's some time to go until Fire Emblem Engage launches, as it is not due for release until January 2023. The previous Fire Emblem games on the Nintendo Switch file sizes are as follows. So Fire Emblem Three Houses, which dropped in 2019, that is at 11.6 gigabytes, and Fire Emblem Three Hopes, which dropped this year, which is the warrior style game, is 13.4 gigabytes. So 15 gigs is not that big, to be fair. That's not that big. I would say that's probably mainly down to a lot of basically the art design, the art style of the game. Of course, the graphics, to me anyway, from what I've seen, the graphics have definitely been improved. I'm actually replaying Fire Emblem Three Houses at the moment, so that's one of the games that I'm replaying. an amazing game. I really enjoyed Fire Emblem Three Hopes as well, which is a great game actually. And I think just a quick one as well. These Musou style Warriors type games that they've been doing with certain games. So obviously Persona had one, and of course Fire Emblem had one. Other games are escaping my mind right now, but those two games done really well. They done really well, man, and they played amazingly, and they're really fun as well. They don't really take too much away from the core essence of the games originally, of basically Fire Emblem and Persona. They add little bits here and there, of course, with the Musou style combat in there, but 15 gigabytes is not that big. So I'm very much looking forward to Fire Emblem Engage. I did cover it here on the channel when the Nintendo Direct dropped, so I am very much looking forward to that January release. I'm hoping that when the special edition does drop for release, I will be purchasing that. There is a little thing as well with these special editions as well. Just a quick gripe. Of course, most people are trying to get the Xenoblade Chronicles free special edition, which I did sign up for on the email, and I didn't get an email at all. So I'm praying and hoping that we do get a nice release for this, basically. So it's not going to be cluttered and people are clamoring around for this. I'm hoping that we just get a release, people can purchase, get their Fire Emblem special edition, and we can move on from there. But that will be it for today's show, guys. So that is Fire Emblem Engage. The file size is weighing in at 15 gigabytes. So can't wait for this game to drop. This game drops real soon in January 2023, and of course the early half of 2023 is stacked full of JRPGs. So that'll be it for today's show, guys. Please like, sub, share if you're new, and also, guys, we are 5 subs away from my personal goal for this year of 200 subs. So we are very close to that. If you guys could hit that sub button, if you like the content, if you like what you see, more JRPG news to follow. If you made it to the end of this video, let me know what JRPG you are most excited for coming out this year and next year, of course. So that'll be it from me to you. This has been your bruv, the big bruv. Like, sub, share if you're new, and I'm gonna catch you guys on the next video. I'm out. Peace.